Well, judging from my exuberant expertise...
Hey!
What's up, guys? Schmitty here. Welcome back. This is feels weird. It's been a long time since I've recorded my last video. I just checked a little bit ago. My last upload was on December 5th, so it's been over 3 weeks now. And as you guys saw from a post a couple weeks back, that was planned. At least the last couple weeks or so have been planned that I was going to be taking a break. I put out that post on my Twitter and here on the community page on YouTube. I put that up on December 12th that I was going to be taking a break for the rest of the year, minus one more video, and today is that video. I'm going to be talking about 2019 today. Kind of what's gone on over the last year, and mostly internally. This isn't going to be another one of those year in review type things. Today I'm going to be kind of talking about the past year and kind of what's gone through my mind in a lot of different areas, mainly focusing on a couple things, being both the content and more so things in the personal life. I'm going to have timestamps down below for those in the description as well, in case you want to skip around to one of those two different parts, because they're both a little bit different. They focus on, obviously, two different areas of what's gone on in the entirety of 2019, but they also kind of work together. So I guess it's up to you. Those timestamps will be down below. But I want to talk about 2019 and kind of what's gone on in my head throughout the entire year. It's been a wild, long year. Feels like it's flown by, but looking back on it, some of the things that were toward the middle or beginning of the year seems like they were years ago already. And this year's been kind of weird in the fact of I don't feel like a lot has happened externally, like things that you could visibly look at as far as like certain numbers or analytics in one area, wherever that is. And I don't feel like I've reached or accomplished this vast array of goals, or really accomplished a lot of like big massive stuff this year by any means. But I feel like inside my mind it's been one of the most wild roller coasters and one of the most rigorous battles that I've had to deal with. And like I said, this has happened in kind of two different parts. So I'm going to start first with the content. Content has been weird and rough in 2019 for sure. 2018 was by far my biggest year. What an amazing year that was. Started off the year hot, had a couple videos do really well, and then the rest of the year was just, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Did a bunch of different videos, grew the channel by a lot. And 2019 was kind of like the total 180 opposite, which, I mean, you're going to go through those. Doing content or doing pretty much anything, there's going to be those ebbs and flows. There's going to be, those ups and downs. But things never felt like a gradual decline like you might think. They honestly came more to a crashing halt, at least in the way I saw it. Numbers obviously were down, which again is something that's going to happen. But I feel like figuring out types of content to do has also been a really big struggle this year. Like, I've done the same types of videos for so long, and it's been such a long battle in my head over the last year plus of kind of how to advance that, or whether to keep going with it, or what exactly to do with content overall. See, I started, when I did YouTube, I started it with doing commentaries. And I've done those for so long, even up till, the point of, just a few weeks ago, a month ago, whatever, I've still done commentaries. Those became like the bread and butter of the channel. That was the thing I started out doing and continued to do over a long number of years. And I had always done commentaries. It's what I started out with. It's a pretty easy thing to do, especially when you're starting out. I mean, they're not too difficult. You take gameplay, you take a commentary, you jam them together, boom, you got your video. There's not a whole lot that goes into it. And those kind of became the standard on the channel. But then what began to happen was, like I said, in 2018, with it being such a big year, my channel doing really well, had a few videos that just blew up. What began to happen was it caused those videos to be like the videos. And what I mean by that is, like, if it wasn't those videos, whatever else I did instead was irrelevant. So basically it became like, whether I wanted to do a commentary or not, I kind of had to do one. Otherwise there was much less of a point to put out a video. I don't want to say little to no point, because, at the end of the day, the content creation is just a hobby. But, for a lot of people, I feel like it becomes basic math. If I do one type of video, a bunch of people are going to watch it. It doesn't take much for me to put it out. Or there's other types of videos that I could do, maybe take a little longer, but they're not going to be viewed quite as much. Easy thing to do with a good statistical reward, obviously is going to win the battle there. And over time, I guess, with how long I've been doing YouTube videos, I don't know if I've just become so unbelievably bored of doing commentaries, or if I just don't feel the drive to do them anymore. I don't know what it's become. I don't know the whole reasoning behind it. I don't know kind of how it's developed in the way that I've seen it. But I legitimately began to get sick and tired of doing commentary videos, at least in terms of them being the norm on the channel. I don't think I could ever go on and never do another one ever, or not do them, you know, here or there, or do them when they make sense. But when those became like the only videos and the videos that were coming out all the time, and that began to continue for a very long time, I feel like I had to have gotten just bored, or, you know, just tired of doing the same thing like that over and over. And it just, like, over time just killed my passion to even want to do content anymore. I can't tell you how many times I thought about just, you know, trying something completely different, or just totally just cutting it off in general. And that's a real thing. Like inside my mind, like, all this stuff plays out all the time. I know you guys, when you watch the videos, you just see whatever I have to put out, but in kind of going inside the mind of the creator a little bit, that's kind of the way things have been, like, inside, like how I've been thinking about the content. And this is, you know, like I said, all of 2019 plus a little bit some. I feel like I've just become so kind of tired of doing the same thing over and over again. But at the end of the day, like, the choice has been made purely based on, like, what it's going to do for the channel. And to kind of translate that into the next point of this, like, obviously I want what's best for the channel. Like, I want this thing to succeed. Like, I've been doing it for quite a while now. I love doing it. Like, making YouTube content is awesome. I want to continue to do it. And at the same time, I want it to continue to grow. You know, everybody wants growth, especially when they're, you know, doing something they love. Obviously, it's fun to do the thing you love, but at the same time, like, you want to see growth and you want to see progress and all that stuff towards that. And just to clear things up, so it doesn't get confused, it's not a money play by any means. If I'm out here playing this just for money here on YouTube, things are not going to go well. The money that I've earned off of YouTube is not something to go directly towards and only for that. That would just be ridiculous. Like, I feel like I've made a decent amount, you know, more than maybe people might think, but by no means has it been like just this unbelievable amount that I need to keep driving at and keep pounding in to, you know, keep reeling in the cash or anything. It's nowhere even near that. Like, I'm way more just about, like, bringing as many people in to, like, watch my content as possible. I think that's one of the most rewarding things, is, like, not only being able to put together content and put it out, but, like, having people watch that as well. I would literally, I swear on this, give every cent, if I could, of all the money I've earned off of YouTube, just to be able to, I mean, just massively explode the size of my channel, the viewership, the subscribers, everything. Just to have more people to watch, not, you know, for some clout purpose. You know, the more people you can have watch your content, I think that's just so cool. Like, I'm way more about how can I make this thing grow and bring more people in to watch than I am about anything else, really, as far as statistics and stuff go. But even with that, it becomes kind of dangerous, because, like I said, at the end of the day, what I would kind of choose would be the videos that I know would do better than others, even though they weren't necessarily the videos that I wanted to make or that I was the most passionate about making. And that's a dangerous thing to get into. And I'm not alone on this. I mean, I think pretty much anybody that's ever made any type of content goes through this choice all the time. You know, sometimes there's those videos you know would do better than others, but you're kind of feeling something else one day, or you're just kind of feeling a complete transition. And that's kind of where I've been as far as the content goes. I've kind of been wanting to, like, do different stuff and bring in different stuff. You know, like I said, I don't think I could totally abandon doing commentaries, because I feel like there is a good time and place for those, and I do feel like that they make sense, definitely. But as far as, like, an all the time content type thing, man, I could not go any longer if I had to do that. But like I said, it's always been coming back to well, my channel won't do as well if I don't do those. And like I said, that's the kind of inside the creator mindset, is trying to make that choice. But I know going forward, and this is kind of looking ahead toward the future now for 2020 and beyond, I know that for this thing to continue at all, that content will have to change. I'm going to have to start doing stuff that is different, stuff that I am more passionate about, and make this whole thing fun again. I feel like, especially in 2019, it became a lot less fun and more so felt like a chore, just purely based on the mindset and everything that was kind of going around with it. And I definitely want to flip that back around. You know, I miss having fun with this stuff. I want to bring the fun back into it and kind of not just get so caught up in the numerical side of things, or like, well, it didn't, you know, grow exponentially in the last 2 days. I'm doing something wrong. I definitely want to make this thing fun again and make it something that, you know, because when it becomes fun, you want to put more time into it, and that's the recipe that leads to the long-term success. And so that's definitely the transition I want to make as far as content goes going forward in 2020. If that pisses a lot of people off, if that causes a decline for a little bit in the channel, so be it. But it's either I'm going to walk away from this thing due to loss of passion and straight boredom or whatever else, or, flip things and change things up a little bit and just kind of see where things go from there. But that's kind of where my head's been as far as content throughout the last year and a half. I feel like, overall it's kind of basic, simple stuff, but I don't talk about it a lot. I don't let like the inside the creator mind thing kind of, come out too much. I just kind of like put out the content, just kind of handle everything else that's, not part of it outside, but to kind of let people into that creator mindset. That's just kind of where things have been in 2019. It's been kind of a rut, kind of a finding what the next step is and figuring out the best way to go forward with the content. And I've come to that ultimate conclusion, like I just talked about. I feel like things are going to have to change, or they're just going to cease to exist at some point. But moving on to some different stuff, some more, personal type stuff. That's where 2019 has been the biggest internal struggle. Like all of it mixed with content as well that I'm so passionate about and I love doing is nothing to scoff at. Like I love all the content and stuff too. But I feel like there's bigger things than this, of course. I just feel like inside, 2019 has been a real battle. More so in some of the real life stuff, I would say, than the content for sure. And I feel like in some ways it's affected the content too. Like I feel like those go hand in hand, which is why I wanted to talk about both. But switching over to some more in real life stuff, I don't even really know where to start. I feel like for the longest time, and I feel like I spent a lot of time thinking about this in 2019, that I just feel like in life, I haven't progressed. I haven't gone forward. I haven't done anything. And those times are going to come, and those years and those phases are going to be there. But I feel like sometimes it's tough, like when you're in the moment and you know it, to kind of just go through it. Like I feel like there's those times you look back on your life and you're like, man, I didn't really accomplish too much at this certain time, but then this time came along and that was cool and whatever else. But like when you're in the moment, I feel like it's a little bit different. Like when you realize you're kind of stuck in one spot and you haven't really progressed much in certain given areas, it's tough to just kind of accept that, especially when if you're someone like me who has kind of a pretty competitive mindset. That's not really something you just kind of settle with. And I feel like it's even more so at my age. I'm 22 right now, and it's kind of those things you see all the time in memes and in Twitter posts and all these things, to where you'll have those people who are just kind of like, haven't really accomplished much, still working their way through school, or, lonely AF and just kind of hanging out and working all these jobs. On the other side, you got people, out here getting married and, buying yachts and, major heads of these, massive companies or whatever else. It's those things you see in memes and stuff all the time. But like that has literally been me all of 2019. And I feel like a lot of it is false comparison. I don't have to explain the fact that I feel like a lot of people already know that like, social media and all those things are a highlight reel, and the things that you see of people are like they're bright spots, obviously. But like I said, when I already know that I'm like kind of at a pause, when life is just kind of like at a standstill, there's nothing really like big happening. There's no real progression going on. And on the flip side of that, when you see other people, at least what it seems like to be, progressing and doing great things, and again, back to the my competitive mindset, it's hard to sit there and accept that. And there's a lot more things to that as well. To put it kind of simply, kind of where my life stands right now is I'm 22, still living at home. I'm working a job here in my local hometown that I grew up in, having fun doing all the YouTube and other content stuff, which has been great. I'm currently, I've kind of been in and out of college, I guess I would say. I started off going for the first couple years, then kind of had a break period due to a long story of a bunch of other things that would just take another long while to explain. And then at the end of 2018 and kind of the beginning of 2019, I've gone back for a couple semesters, and I haven't gone, either the last, summer or this past fall semester. And, currently I don't feel like it's right to go back, if that makes sense. And kind of the big reason for that is I feel like I didn't really have an end goal. I didn't really have something that I was like just so overly passionate about that I like, get through school, get this, and, we'll head on to this that I love and I'm super passionate about, and, all things will be hunky-dory and, live happily ever after. There was never really a true end goal. And so I kind of came to the conclusion, kind of toward the end of this earlier 2019 semester that like, it's kind of just a waste of time, effort, and money at this point if you don't really have an end goal. I feel like it's pretty necessary to have one. Like if you're going to put all these different resources into it, like you better know what's going to come out on the other side, or at least have a general idea. And I didn't really have one, so I felt like there really wasn't a point. And so currently, as it stands right now, I haven't gone back and continued, and currently I don't have a plan right now to do so. Due to all those things I just said, I don't really have a true end goal in mind. And I kind of want to stop right here because I feel like at this point, some people have thought some stuff or had some questions. And basically, like I've talked about, being in the standstill, not really having an end goal, all this stuff. The quick response to that I'm sure some people might be thinking is like, well, pick one, have an end goal, make these certain adjustments, do certain things to progress and all these things. And obviously, like, those seem pretty evident suggestions. Like, believe me, you're not breaking any news here. But this is where it gets into the internal struggle of what I've gone through in 2019 personally, is the reason I don't have any certain progression, or have felt any certain progression, and the reason I don't have any certain end goals through any of those things right now is almost entirely due to uncertainty and fear. So to kind of explain and use this in an example, I'm really uncertain what would happen or what would come out of it, or what I would think, or how I would enjoy having some sort of certain progress in some certain area, or choosing an end goal and sending, full force towards that. I am uncertain as to what that would bring. And on top of that, it frightens me to think about that, because there's so many different what ifs. What if I choose this path, this goal, this certain thing, go straight toward it, and things fall apart? I've had that happen before. It sucks. You feel like you're back at square one. Well, on the other hand, like, what if I go full force toward these things, choose this progress, choose this end goal, go toward it, and I don't like it. I'm not happy with it. Kind of a lot of wasted time, energy, potentially money, whatever else. It's kind of this battle of that uncertainty, that fear, that the not knowing what would happen, how I would feel about it, fearing that at the same time. And instead of picking one side or the other, or, the multitude of other different directions of things I could do or go, I'm picking the middle. I'm picking the fence. That's where I've been. And that is what's also causing me to feel the internal struggle of not really feeling any progress. That is the circular battle I am going like all different directions on, and I have been throughout the entirety of this year, if that makes sense. If I could put a cleverly designed diagram together to get the point across, I would. So it's basically like, I'm not too happy at the current moment, just kind of being on the fence, not really having a choice, not really progressing too far or having any certain end goals or anything, fearing choosing an end goal and being unhappy with it, being uncertain in the first place of what those certain things would be, and then coming back around to like, bringing myself back to just staying in that standstill, sitting on the fence, not making any progress or whatever, because that's what feels like the safe thing. It's just this massive circular battle, and it sucks, and I really don't like it. But I don't know the right way to get out of it. And I'm not certain or confident or really even sure of like what a good way to get out of it would be. Like, to put it simply, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of a lot of different things. Most importantly, I'm afraid of doing the wrong things. I'm afraid to go out and to try different things, or try to do certain things to progress and make end goals and all the certain stuff. And, at the end of the day, I'm afraid to be a screw up, but at the same time, bringing that back around full circle, like, that's also what's kind of caused me to feel like one at the same time, and I just kind of end up sitting back hoping that, like, at some point, something's just gonna, smack me upside the head, and things are just gonna start, it's just gonna start moving. I just kind of feel like I'm sitting there in a broken down car, just sitting there beating on the dash, hoping the thing just starts and goes and can continue on the journey and, finally reach some, great destination. Not only is that, not a likely thing, but that's also, that's not the right way to do things. And I know that, but like at the same time, like I said, I've just, I don't know, I've just been so fearful of what the right things are to do. I want to look back later on in life and be just so like unbelievably happy of like what I've done, what I've been able to accomplish. kind of the legacy that has been left behind, whatever that is. I don't know. I that's one thing I kind of became obsessed with too throughout this year is, what kind of the legacy, what kind of, I don't know, path am I trying to paint? A lot of times it boiled down and got really bad, and I just started wondering, like what's the point? What's the meaning? What's anything? What's my purpose? I've really battled a lot through this year with a lot of that stuff. It's a really dangerous spot to be in when you're going through every single day. It just really, and it feels really monotonous, and you just kind of feel like there's no real purpose to anything that you're doing. That's a dangerous spot to be. That can lead and, often leads to, terrible things. I hate to say that I went through 2019 and was just, so depressed, had, these horrible thoughts and all these things. I hate to ever say that that's what it was, because I know so many people have it so much worse, and I could never be mentally strong enough probably to go through some of the things that other people have had to go through and all those kinds of things. And I don't feel like I'm ever the biggest proponent of any of those things. So I hate to like pin that and say that was me throughout this last year. But also at certain times, I don't feel like it was too far off. To be quite truthful, I spent a lot of time in 2019, like, sad, pretty sad a lot of times. Just, I don't know, just trying to find some reason, some purpose, trying to find that. Everybody has that. Everybody does have one, but it's just that battle of trying to find what that is and feel like it's there and feel like there's something you're striving towards something. And when it doesn't feel like it's there, it's really tough. And I'm not trying to make this some pity party, some woe is me, some, look at me, I'm struggling right now, help. And, this isn't some cry for help. This isn't some, woe is me type thing. I share this because I know that I'm not alone in this. I know that other people out there feel the same. And not only that, I feel like, I owe an explanation to a lot of certain things. And I feel like it's good to put these kind of things out there. It's kind of a good way to vent. Some people may not agree because it's online, it's the internet, all those crazy things. But I feel like these things are good to share. They're good things to talk about. They're important to talk about. And they're things that I don't feel like a lot of people that know me or see me in real life would think or would know. I don't feel like I've let too much of that out this year. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing. But that's kind of where 2019 has been. And I can't, I'd love to come to the end of this video and confidently say that, the last, few weeks, this last month, the end of 2019 has been awesome. I've found it. I've reached that point. I've finally found what I was looking for. At this point, I can't say that. At this point, I'm still kind of in that rut. I'm much better mentally, in a lot of areas than what I have been, previously throughout this entire year of 2019. But, there's still those times, there's still those days where you just can't help but, kind of going around and feeling like, what am I doing? What's going on? Like, a lot of deep stuff that could probably go on for hours. Like I said, it's scary not knowing like what purpose you fill, like I don't even feel comfortable saying that out loud, but at the same time, it's the truth. And I know that there are so many other people out there that feel the same way. The good thing is that I know it's out there. I know that I'm meant for things that are way bigger than me, way bigger than anybody else. But, sometimes when you don't see that day to day or throughout a given period of time, that can be really rough. And I'm just hoping 2019 feels like there was progress. Like there was, maybe at least maybe hopefully some sort of end goal. Yeah, I want to feel like there was good progress made. I want to feel like from the start of 2020 to the end that, like there was this massive amount of progress made, and I'm glad I'm not, in the spot I was, right now here making this video and, by the end of next year. And I especially don't want another year of this one to where it's just been a lot of, it's been this crazy roller coaster journey inside and a whole lot of emptiness and nothingness on the outside. I feel like I've been in a rut. I feel like, I've just kind of been floating around in the air, as time has passed by me. And like I said, all that stuff is just not a good feeling to have. One big thing I want going forward, and this is another thing I probably should have thrown on talking about this a little bit ago, like by the time everything's said and done, by the time I get through life and everything else, I just want to, at the end of it, know like that I was happy. Like I want to reach that point to where I sit there, I look around, and everything is great. I'm happy. I'm more than content with the way things have gone, things have turned out. I want to accomplish awesome things, do great things that I could have, never imagined, years ago and things like that. And a lot of times I just feel behind. I feel like I'm, because I'm not there yet, that I'm doing something wrong. And maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't really know. It's been a whirlwind of emotions, a crazy roller coaster journey inside my mind. Like I said, throughout of 2019, I probably just need to get through with this video by now, because I think you guys get the point. And that's kind of what's been going on internally. That's been the internal struggle. And I don't feel like any of it is a simple fix. I know there's people that are gonna, think things are simple. We'll just, start doing stuff, start choosing X, Y, and Z. And I don't feel like things are that simple. I feel like, things are meant to be a journey and a long, thought out, just a process. But overall, that has been the truth about 2019. It has been a wild internal ride of, trying to find meaning, purpose, feeling like I'm doing things right, making progress, struggling in all those areas. And I'm hoping in 2020 I'm able to change a lot of those things. We'll see. I want to enjoy things again. I want to just, right now, the only thing I want is just to be happy. That's it. I truthfully, whatever way that comes about, I don't care. I just want that to be a thing. And by the end of this time next year, I really just want to be able to say that I'm happy. 2019 has honestly felt a lot like just a quarter life crisis, to be honest. There's a lot of times I just felt like, I wish I could just give up, but I know that it's not the right thing to do. There are better days ahead, and that's what I'm striving towards. I don't know what's going to bring that. I don't know how that's going to come about, but hopefully not too far from now, I can find something that at least progresses me toward that goal. But anyway, I think that's going to be where I wrap things up for this video. So down below in the comments, leave anything that makes sense to you, anything you want to comment. You want to leave something about, your experiences with 2019. If you got anything relating to anything I've talked about in today's video, go ahead, drop it in the comments. Anyway, here's to a better 2020. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to smack the schmidt out of that like button down below. If you guys are new, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below as well. And Thursday videos and times you guys know when those videos go live. Hope you guys all have a good one. I will see you guys on another video. So long, everybody.
Some moments, some we'll share together, and I just hope you know that when I'm gone, I really tried to be happy.